So this is just going to be a yapping session, and the topics basically about forgiveness, forgiving, and forgave. They all have the same meaning, but they're portrayed differently. People who just met me, they know I struggle with this so much. It's like the hardest obstacle I face. So first one up is forgiveness. Forgiveness is like the act of letting things go. I can't let things go. I get worked up and attached, and the feelings I feel are all stuck inside me, and there's only like anger. I forget how to overlook and to view things from other people's perspectives, and I forget to take into account their background, their situation, and their overall views. And I don't truly know what it means to give forgiveness. How do you let go of someone who wronged you? How do you change your mindset? How do you change your mindset to allow them forgiveness? How do you take away the thoughts of vengefulness and the thoughts of everyone is trying to wrong you? Forgiving is the action of forgiveness. I see people do this in daily life, but I'm always wondering, are they truly sincere? Is the apologizer truly sincere? People will say I'm sorry all the time, but they repeat the same things. They're always like, I'm sorry, I'll never do it again, but they'll continue to do it again. If someone says I'm saying again wrong, I'm gonna kick you. It leads me to ponder even, whether or not we're allowed to forgive and give them our forgiveness, even if they're in the wrong and they're not sincere about it. Can one truly forgive them? Can you really forgive them? What is the purpose of forgiving? How do people have enough room in their hearts to let their mistakes keep wrecking on their walls? You think they would be naive, but maybe there's a bigger picture that we all fail to understand. How did apologizers continue to not see their mistakes and continue on with the actions they take part in? Forgave. The past or forgive. I forgive you for this, but I have already forgave you. How do you forgive someone for something they have not yet committed? They tell me they already opened their hearts and are ready to accept the mistakes or crimes they commit, no matter what they are or no matter what happened. They just accept the person for who they are. Forgiveness that has already been given. It's a strange concept to me. In order to forgive, you really just need to let go. Your mind, your heart, it needs to be able to let go of the burdens, of the fears of being wronged by someone. It's like the process of learning more about yourself and of this person who supposedly wronged you. Forgiveness is not something that happens in the moment. That was something that took me a while to understand. I do not need to forgive someone right when they apologize to me. In that moment of time, that's the process of learning more about yourself and the person who supposedly wronged you. You reflect on it. You have to separate your worth with their actions. Forgiving isn't about the apologizer's sincerity. It's about your choice on whether or not you allow them back into your life. Forgiving is something you have allowed yourself. You've allowed yourself to forgive. You're not forgiving for that person. You're doing it for yourself. I'll repeat that again. You're forgiving for yourself. Forgiving is where you release your anger, your bitterness, and all those emotions that you've held up into that point in reflection. At that moment, once you've forgiven, you've allowed yourself to move on. Okay. Wait, boba break. Wait, I'm not gonna show you the store because I'm gatekeeping. Forgave is the state of a being. That's like true inner peace. what I mean by peace is like you've decided in advance that you're not defined by what that person does to you. You're not defined by what others do to you. You're basically embracing that inner peace I'm mentioning, that you're not affected by those. It's like the idea of unconditional love or acceptance, almost like the idea of having kids. The idea of having kids, like no matter what your kid does, you'll accept them. You know that they're a growing person. You know, like they're gonna make mistakes. You're allowing them to grow as a person within your space, but not allowing them to affect you. It's like you're seeing them as a person, rather than letting their mistakes define them. It's like it's not the act of being stepped on or a doormat or being vulnerable. It's more about giving that person a space to still support them without letting their actions tear you apart. Okay, I think now I'm gonna tie it back to me. This is hard. It's like I'm doing this all in one take, and sometimes I feel like I don't know. I'm gonna move on. In conclusion, yeah, this is a conclusion. I am nowhere near anything I just stated. I'm just someone who thinks a lot and is still reflecting on my own. For my only excuse is that I'm still immature and that I haven't learned how to open up space in my heart to let people inside. I'm scared of being wronged, trampled on, and being evaluated by others. I close off my heart by defining others by their mistakes when that was something I was trying to avoid for myself. In order to not be looked down on, I lash out and I make my feelings known predominantly with my anger. I let it build up to people so they know not to wrong me. That was the armor that I built upon myself, that I wore. It works for first impressions, but people who do know me, they know that. Okay guys, so I lied. It's not gonna be in one take, it's gonna be in 2 takes because my storage ran out. But like I was saying, people know that under all the anger that I've built up, it's just me. It's just a teenage girl who's afraid. She's defending herself with a wooden sword that can only give you splinters. And in truth be told, perhaps in the near future, I will put down the sword and let go of the brittle armor I forged from my fears and allow myself to be seen for who I am, vulnerable but whole.